When it comes to success in IELTS, you need a good grasp of grammar. That involves many things, from articles to preposition to punctuation. One very important part is verb tense, and yet many people find this difficult. Today, we're going to look at the present perfect and past perfect tenses in order to better understand them. In a sense, it's easy to see why people would mix up present perfect and past perfect. They actually look quite similar. For example, he has waited for 5 minutes and he had waited for 5 minutes. The first one is present perfect and the second is past perfect. You can see that in these two sentences, there's just a small difference. In fact, one letter is changed from one sentence to the next. However, the difference is very big when it comes to the meaning. We use present perfect for several reasons, but most commonly is used to talk about things that began in the past and lead up to the present moment. Here are some examples. In each case, the verb or the situation it describes began in the past and continues or could continue until the present. In other words, she has had 4 cups of coffee this morning, but she could have more because it's still the morning. He has been in trouble twice already and it could happen again. My water tank has been broken for 3 months and is still broken now. I have a whole lesson on the present perfect tense, which I think is really underused by IELTS candidates, and you can find it up here. The past perfect is similar, but the most important difference is that the time period has already ended. We could reuse the previous expressions with slight modifications. These look similar, but the difference is very big. She had had 4 cups of coffee by midday means it's now after midday. He had been in trouble twice already. This happened sometime in the past and is finished. And my water tank had been broken for 3 months. This happened sometime in the past, the context of which would have been made clear in a previous sentence. In each case, we're looking back further into the past from another point in the past. Note that in some of these examples, the time frame was implied. In real-life situations, this would have been stated. For example, if someone said he had been in trouble twice already, then a time would have been mentioned in the previous sentence or sentences. As we can see then, present perfect and past perfect are similar, but with a key difference. The present perfect is used for situations leading up to the present moment, and the past perfect is used for ones leading up to a set time in the past. In the first example here, the verb tense tells us that they still live here. In other words, the time frame continues until now. However, in the second example, the point of perspective is in the past. Thus, the past perfect tense is used to look further into the past from another point in the past. I've already said that grammar is important for IELTS, so you can imagine that knowing the difference between these verb tenses is necessary if you want a good score. Verb tense can of course affect all 4 parts of the test: reading, listening, speaking, and writing. However, I find that it often presents the biggest difficulty in task 1 of the writing test. That's because you have to describe data like line graphs, if you're doing the academic test, that is. Here it is absolutely essential that your verb tenses are accurate enough to convey the right meaning. If, for example, you mixed up present perfect and past perfect, you would not give the reader the right information. Look at this line graph. You can see that all the data comes from the past because the latest data point is 2019. Thus, it would be totally inappropriate to use the present perfect. In short, you really need to think, 1, when does the information come from? And 2, what verb tense should I use to describe it? If the data leads up to the present, you will probably need to use the present perfect. If you're looking into the past from another point in the past, you'll probably need the past perfect. There are a few things you can do to maximize your chances of getting the right tense. Firstly, always pay attention to the time frame. Sometimes it's really obvious, but sometimes it's only implied. Still, you need to ask whether the situation was ongoing in the past or whether it leads up to the present. Secondly, look out for words that give you clues. We often use for and since with the past perfect. That's because they typically suggest that something began in the past and leads up to the present. You can also look out for the word by, which is frequently used with the past perfect tense. For example, we often see by and then some point in time. In each of these examples, it is very likely that we would need the past perfect tense. That's because by indicates that what we're looking for happened in the period prior to that point in the past. Okay, that's all for today. If this video has been helpful, then consider giving it a like, and you can subscribe if you want more videos about IELTS and grammar. I aim to provide realistic and actionable advice that helps you prepare for your next IELTS test.